first one. If you can, with the reference bags, the ones that, the colored bags that you see, we're going to come by, when you open it up, when you open up your puzzle, pull the puzzle out of the bag, throw the bag on the ground, and any other trash or anything else, we'll have people come through and pick those up. The bags, we need to reuse those each time, so if you make sure you don't take those home with you. And let's see here. Oh, the cards that are on the tables, those are yours to keep. Once you finish, there's a spot for you to write down your time, and you're able to take those home as a little keepsake, as well as obviously the puzzle. This puzzle is from Pomegranate. So just so you guys know, that's going to be one of their puzzles. We had a Portland puzzle company puzzle first. And one thing that I want to do especially is make a special announcement about Aurora Puzzles. They're here all the way from Alaska, and they're over there in the corner. And anything you can do to go check them out, they got fantastic looking puzzles, and they're a great company. So please go over there. We've got great vendors all over. We got Jigsaw. Carl is from Eugene, who has put together a really unique puzzle table. Go over there, he'll tell you all about it. It's fantastic. It spins, it turns, it makes your dinner, it does everything. Of course, we all know the Puzzle Republic, great Luke and Jessica, and we got completing the puzzle here, and the title sponsors, Portland Puzzle and Pomegranate in the back. So just please go visit them and just chat with them. They'd love to hear from you. Okay, so what we're going to do here is go through the basic rules, and then if we have a table available and a standby, we can add them in. So, welcome to Portland, prelim number 2. Let's see what we got here. Let's start off with, again, we talked about throwing the bags on the ground. Once we do that, everybody will come by. We'll do a countdown from 5. We'll get to 0. Go for it. Basic rules. Put it together as fast as you can. If at the end of the your time, if you time out, if you have 3 or more puzzle pieces that interlock, they count as put together. So what we'll do is we'll come by and we'll count if you have any single or double pieces remaining, and what that will do is it'll come off your score. But I think everybody will finish. We have 2 hours, so we have a really good chance of everybody finishing. Spectators, if you don't mind, let's stay basically where the chairs are. I want to stay, do not come inside the perimeter of the competition area. Please stay on the outside where the chairs are. But you're more than welcome to film or do whatever you like to do. Scoreboard will be up on the board here. You'll be able to see how you finish immediately, well, within a few seconds. And if you need anything, the monitors will be coming through. You should be able to, get one of them's attention, and we'll come by if you have a question. Anybody have any other question? Oh, if you piece falls on the floor, we're not going to help you. You're responsible for making sure you find that piece. If for any reason you come up one short or you can't find that piece, it's only a 10-second penalty. So don't get too flustered about it. If it's on the ground, try to find it so you can beat the 10-second, but it's only a 10-second penalty. So. What's going to happen is this is the second prelim. There will be 13 advance to the finals. So let me correct that. There will be 13 that are guaranteed an advancement. we're going to have, out of the 3 prelims, we're going to have 1 lucky dog, and that lucky dog is going to go on time. So basically, if you finish 14th, then we're going to, of the 3 people that finish 14th, we're going to pick the fastest time of that, and they'll advance. Anybody have any questions? No? Are we ready? Okay, if you guys are ready, let's go down through the countdown. Ready? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
All right, and we're off at Heat 2 of the individuals competition here at the Portland Jigsaw Masters.
You hear a lot of boxes slamming as the puzzlers open up and get to take a look at their puzzle for the very first time. Welcome back if you're joining us again after individual preliminaries Heat 1. I'm Alania Cater, and joining me is
Rob Shields.
And we're really excited to have you if it's your first time or your second time today. But we're excited to have you here with us. We're here at the Portland Jigsaw Masters competition in Portland, Oregon. And we're now in Heat 2. And you just saw the puzzlers open their puzzles, get a look at it for the first time. And we're actually going to get a look at it for the first time too.
That's right.
So this is actually how the puzzlers have to open up their puzzle.
There's nothing more exciting than hearing a bunch of boxes being opened at the beginning of the competition, I have to say.
And let's see, they have this lovely pomegranate puzzle here.
Ooh.
And it's a puzzle, the artist on this puzzle, the imagery is by Pat Scott. The puzzle's called A Resounding Success. And we'll talk a little bit more about Pomegranate, who is one of the title sponsors of today's event, as well as the sponsor of the puzzle for this heat. We'll talk about them a little bit more. We'll talk about the artist a little bit more. But just, Rob, I'd love to get from you what you think about looking at this puzzle. You know, what are your initial thoughts looking at the image of this puzzle for the puzzlers who are going to be putting it together?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of interesting things to be said about here. I'm gonna take the puzzle down just so I can look at it here. Clearly, there are some cats on this puzzle, but there's some solid, I think, areas to explore here. There's a lot of different kinds of cats in a lot of different postures, which means that you're likely to find little bits that can go together pretty quickly. It can be difficult because I'm seeing that a lot of the cats are the same color, not surprisingly. So finding exactly where they go is going to be hard, but they're next to random other cats, so you're much likely to have 2 different kinds of cats on the same puzzle. Then you've got these branches which have a direction to the bark, which is nice. So I think this one, I guessed what our time was going to be last time, and I was off by a pretty substantial margin. So I'm not going to do that again. But this seems like it might go faster than the last one did.
Okay, and just for those of you who are joining us and didn't see individual preliminaries Heat 1, the last one, the first finisher finished in around 31 minutes. So maybe we can see someone finish a little bit faster than that on this puzzle. TBD. It is 300 pieces, just as a reminder. So we'll see if anyone comes in faster than in that Heat 1. But the top 13 will advance to the finals on Sunday. And then after that, it will be some wild cards, so based on time. So we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, there's one wild card of the fastest non-qualifying time. We'll move on to the finals in the individuals.
So just a little bit about pomegranate puzzles. So pomegranate is the puzzle brand here that they're going to be puzzling today. So Pomegranate is a Portland-based company, which is where we are coming from live here today. And they've been publishing art since 1968. And they're family-owned, which is, really cool. Always great to support those family-owned businesses. They produce a wide range of stationery, calendars, games, and books. But probably what everyone who's tuning in right now and everyone here knows them best for is their puzzle line. And they can be found in gift shops and stores across the country, as well as online at pomegranate.com.
I'm a huge fan of pomegranate puzzles personally. Like, I'm not necessarily a follows a brand sort of person, but I've always enjoyed the art that the pomegranate chooses, and the feel of their puzzles is nice for me.
Yep.
I know different people have different perspectives on kind of what feels like a good puzzle. The pieces go together well. So I'm excited I was excited, frankly, to learn that I'm here in town and Pomegranate is here in town. I had no idea. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how this
away.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing maybe we'll be able to see in some of these shots. So they actually use a high quality matte art paper for the color.
Yeah.
And that helps reduce the glare. So it will be interesting to see if, the puzzlers in this heat maybe do get a little bit of an advantage just because of that finish on the puzzle as well, in addition to the image. And then we can even kind of hear some of the snaps. So it's you have to listen really close. You may not hear it so well on the live stream, but the snaps together is something that Pomegranate is known for, as well as their art. So, you mentioned the art. They partner with renowned contemporary artists and museums, and so that's something they're known for. And so this particular artist that did this puzzle here is Pat Scott. And Pat Scott is an English artist and talented wildlife painter. So she painted she was alive from 1932 to 2017. So is no longer with us. This actually was a relatively recent work, though. It was painted in 2012.
Oh.
So pretty recent. And she does focus a lot on the animal kingdom. So she likes to bring to life the animal kingdom on canvas. They showcase vibrant colors and meticulous brushwork. And I think it'll be really interesting to see how quickly the puzzlers put together this particular puzzle.
Yeah, it does bias itself towards a particular kind of puzzler's interest. So obviously it's animals. Some people love animals, but it's got a lot going on, especially in the bottom half of the puzzle, the bottom quarter maybe. It's got a lot of like a jumbly piece, and that can not everybody is strong on sort of random assortments of things. There's not a lot of gradients in here, so if you're the kind of person who loves the sky or a color gradient or like a water, there's not a lot to dig your teeth into here. There's a lot of solid patterns. Fortunately, at least speaking on behalf of most of the world, there's not a lot of actual fur texture you have to deal with. Certainly cats have fur on them, but fur is not, it's not like a big face fill of like one dog's face where it's all fur. Fur can be a bit of a nightmare. So in this particular respect, there's a lot of furry animals, but that should be fairly straightforward on that respect. Now, you mentioned the glare earlier, and in the world of regular puzzling, glare's kind of an annoyance, but in the world of speed puzzling, it's actually a substantial hindrance, right? We talked in the last heat about what a great job they're doing here at Jigsaw Puzzle Masters, Portland Jigsaw Masters, there we go, about creating sort of continuous lighting in this area, because lighting is really an important part of competitive jigsaw puzzling. It can have a huge impact on how fast you can go. And the difference between a highly reflective surface and a matte surface has this similar effect. And so for a puzzler, at least in my opinion, like having a sort of matte finish that doesn't reflect a lot, that you can see at a lot of different angles what is on that piece is a benefit. So I think that it could play into, as we were talking about before, this may be a faster puzzle in general, but that matte finish may also allow people to go a little bit faster, depending on how the lighting is out there, depending on how they're reacting to it. So there may be a couple of things that might lean towards this being a place where people are more likely to come for that wild card spot.
And last heat we had some really fantastic puzzlers in it. We had Andrea Pang, number 4 puzzler in the world. We had the Reuter sisters. We had Jessa Douglas. We had just some, puzzlers that are really up there in speed puzzling. Can you tell us maybe who to watch in this heat?
Yeah, I'll do my best. There's a fewer people in this heat that I am aware of sort of on a national or international stage. We've got a couple of folks who are, I think, folks to watch in general, but I can't tell how they're going to perform in here. So Marissa Martin, for example, is sort of dead center in here. She's part of a really fast team so for those who didn't hear in the last heat, we were talking about how in Portland there's a weekly puzzling league Marissa is part of a team that sort of came out of nowhere, which is to say they had been playing in one day of the league. The league has 2 different days, and they came out and just sort of announced themselves in the 4-person league by becoming one of the more dominant teams. So I'm interested to see how she's doing as an individual, because I haven't had a chance to see her play individually. And then we've got folks that we have seen kind of play nationally, like Joyce Yu, who is typically at the national competitions, who I've seen there a number of times. And then we've got the other person that I'm curious to see how they do is Kelly Wesley. She has her own puzzle company. It's called Minty Fizz Puzzles, but she has recently been part of one of the stronger Portland teams in the regionals. There was a regional competition a few weeks ago, and she was on that team, and that team did well. So I'm really excited to see how she does an individual. Are there folks that you're thinking about that we ought to keep an eye on as well?
Yeah, there's a couple of others that I think could be really interesting who have been, looks like, competing recently in the Portland speed puzzling community and have been doing quite well. So it looks like Harold Small has come in first in the individuals in some of the local speed puzzling competitions.
Yep. Harold's definitely a contender. He depending on the puzzle, my understanding is he's fairly puzzle dependent, but he can come out first.
And then another one potentially to watch is Jin Lee Fao, and I apologize if I messed up that name, but looks like they've finished first in pairs. So I don't have a lot of information on how they've done individually, but that's pretty strong in pairs.
Yeah, I'm hoping that there are some folks who are used to playing in pairs and teams taking a flyer on being an individual and seeing how that works out for them. Because that's always, I think it's a fun experience to change up the pressure. You don't have anybody else to rely on but yourself. And it's good to see how you can perform in that respect. Now we're looking at not Jeff Pichette, but Zach Paza. I probably got that wrong. Panza, I think is what it says.
Yeah, it looks like we have a late sub.
Yeah, we've got a couple I've noticed. But you see that Zach was doing, and we're seeing it here as well, the classic starting with the edges of the puzzle. As we talked about last time around, that can be a great way for a lot of people to start. You want to sort out the pieces, at least identify the edges and get them out, because you can usually do that fairly quickly. They're distinctive in terms of their shape. If you get them out, you might want to put them together like we're seeing here, and that defines the space of the puzzle that you're working in, which can be a huge help, so that you're not trying to figure out like how far apart pieces are. You know that they're going to be in this box somewhere. And it also just reduces the total number of pieces, even if you don't end up using them right away, it reduces the total number of pieces you have to look through. You see she's got that big bunch of pieces off to the right. It reduces the number of pieces in there. So when you're hunting for a specific piece, or you're just trying to get your eye caught by something, those edge pieces are already out of the way. There's fewer pieces total for you to look for.
One thing that I found really interesting is we see, some people standing, we see some people sitting. Do you have any point of view on standing versus sitting?
I would love to be a person who stands the entire time. I am not that person. We have a joke on our team that one of the things that we do to prepare for a puzzle competition is take some Advil. The joke went so far as when we went to nationals, we went as a sort of a hybrid team. It was my wife and myself, and then 2 other folks who I'll point out when they come along. But our team name was called Advil Up, which is part of our routine. You take some Advil before you go competing. So that gives you a sense of how I would approach that. But I think that if you can stand, it gives you a lot. Like obviously, most people can stand, but it's one thing to stand. It's another thing to stand for 2 hours hunched over, and that can be really hard to sustain. If you can do that, you have a bigger picture of where everything is. You can see, like we're watching here, that they're sort of hovering over the entire space. They can access more things readily. You can see she's leaning on one arm, but if she was able to even have her other arm up, she can be doing a lot in that space. So I think standing up is definitely an advantage, but it is non-trivial. There are some folks like Yvonne Foyt, who I know she was the national champion in 2022. She does core exercises as part of her routine to make sure that she can do standing up and like get through a long day of puzzling, especially if you consider folks who are puzzling maybe tomorrow we have individuals, pairs, and team events going on. A person could conceivably be in all three of those events. And if they are in those three events, that's a lot of standing up. That's a lot of being hunched over. And so the more that you can be physically ready for that, the better. So that being said, the fastest puzzlers in the world don't stand, or at least they don't stand all of the time. So
Yeah, and I think that you just gave an example of where puzzling actually could be considered a sport. You're
That's
having
right.
to do physical activity and exercise to actually prepare.
yeah, I was mentioning in the last heat that I consider a sport anything that requires special garments of some sort, whether it be shoes, a swimsuit, running shorts, that sort of thing. So maybe a back brace is the official jigsaw puzzle. That's what would officially make it a sport, in my opinion.
I like that, a back brace.
Yeah,
Or,
I love these big shots of the playing field here.
Yeah, and I think this is a great shot to show our viewers a little bit more of what the space looks like, how nice and spread out these tables are, how big the tables are. It's really a luxury for these puzzles competing here today, along with the lighting. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Well, as I was saying before, like the lighting is a crucial component of competition. It's hard to get right. You're looking for lighting that is sort of smooth throughout the space, that doesn't cast a lot of shadows. If you look closely, you can see some shadows being cast onto people's kind of playing surfaces here. You want to minimize that where possible. And really you're doing that because you want the competition to be equal. You don't want somebody being stuck in the middle of a dark zone because it can make a huge difference. If you're in a dark area, it makes it really hard to see. If you've got blues and blacks or shades of black, it can be hard to tell the difference between those, where if you're underneath a light, it can be really easy to spot them. And so having really consistent light across the entire playing field is key. And I feel like the Portland Jigsaw Masters has done a great job with that.
Right now we're watching Mary Sharp. She's from San Jose, California, and she started speed puzzling about 9 months ago.
Yeah, a lot of folks relatively new or even very new to speed puzzling, which is great. I think that is what we are seeing, is that the movement of speed puzzle, the awareness that this is a thing you could do, is increasing. I know that some folks who are hosting competitions have seen year over year the number of attendees double or triple. And so people are finding competitive jigsaw puzzling as an activity that is interesting to engage in, and events like this and the publicity around events like this are helping to drive that, so that people can get exposure to what people are doing and see, maybe I could be going that fast. Jigsaw puzzling is generally a low. Doesn't require a lot of things to have. You don't have to have a lot of equipment. You go get a puzzle, you see how fast you can put it together.
Yep. I love this fact that Mary shared about how she started puzzling. It's quite a throwback for me. She said she started puzzling as a kid with her dad, doing 500-piece Big Ben puzzles. You remember those?
Big Ben puzzles.
Yeah.
It vaguely rings a bell, but I don't have an immediate sense memory for them. Why don't you tell us about it?
We definitely had a stack of Big Ben puzzles in our closet. That's definitely something that we did. And puzzled.
What kind of puzzles are they?
They were a lot of landscape pictures and things like that. But
Yeah.
it was a brand, and yep. Remember those.
Oh, there's Harold right there, and you can see that he's got a good chunk of the top already put together. He's got the lower edge put together, so he's moving along pretty well.
Yeah, and he did not go with getting the entire edge done, so he went a little different route.
Yeah. The last round, the edges were what I would consider hard, in that they were more or less a solid color, and so determining which piece goes next to which is more challenging.
Yep.
This one has less of that, which isn't to say it doesn't have any. You can see there's that tree texture in the middle of everything. It goes down the entire side, the bark texture on one side, but it seems like the right-hand side has a lot of variety in terms of what is on the edge, so it could come together fairly quickly. That being said, as we talked about last time, it really is a matter of getting into the puzzle and figuring out what is working for you right now, because it is as we learned last time. You were thinking that the windows that were part of the puzzle last time were the obvious place to start, and almost to a person. people only did those at the very end, and then they struggled with them. And so you need to be able to get in and go, okay, I think this is where I'm going to do well. I'm going to do these things. Is it working? If not, then pivot and move on to something else. So, so I think that you need to have a lot of those kinds of strategies and a lot of those kinds of moments. Who are we looking at here?
We're looking at Caroline Orsi.
Good job,
She is
Caroline.
from San Francisco, and she's been speed puzzling for about 9 months. She participated in the USA JPA competition in individuals, pairs, and teams. So speaking of those people who really have to have that endurance when puzzling,
Absolutely.
competing in all those different events. And she's slated to go to the Worlds in 2024 this year, coming up.
Nice. All right. Well,
in
then
about a month, right?
I expect good things. It's in late September.
Yeah. So she's making some pretty good progress, it looks like.
Yeah. If you are interested in learning more about who to watch at Worlds, my podcast, Peace Talks, which you can find in all places that carry podcasts, I'm doing with E.B. Karen, who's a international competitor, but can't go to Worlds this year. We're doing a Who to Watch at Worlds series of episodes so that you can get some background on who the right people are to keep an eye on if you want to be able to just kind of watch the Worlds live stream and understand who the typically good players are and a little bit of their background and how they perform. So definitely check that out once it's available, probably later in this month.
And Rob, for those people on here who don't know about your podcast, can you tell them a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So my podcast is called Peace Talks, where I interview people who are in the performance jigsaw space, which I think of as like the speed puzzling, like we're watching here, but also includes things like competitive or jigsaw chess, puzzle chess. And so I talk to the folks and see what it was that got them, what was their road to becoming as good as they are? What do they do to maintain that level? How do they practice? What kinds of things do they practice? What kinds of strategies do they have? How do they work with other people? Basically just sort of dig into both the competitors and also the people behind the scenes who make puzzles for speed puzzling, who are putting on competitions, people who do the art. So really just digging deep into the world of performance jigsaw puzzling.
And puzzle chess may be a new word to many people who are joining us on the live stream today.
I love puzzle chess. I've not done it. We do have before our regular Portland Puzzle League, there's folks get together at a bar and a couple of folks will bust out some puzzle chess. And basically all you're doing is you're building the frame. You're taking a small puzzle, typically 100 pieces. You're building the frame together with your opponent. And then you're putting all the pieces like we see here off on the left here. All the pieces are face up. So after you've built the frame, just all the edges together, you bring out a chess clock, and everybody, when it's your turn, your time is counting against you until you put a piece in, then you hit the clock, and then time is counting against your opponent until they put a piece in, and then ultimately when the puzzle is done, whoever has the least amount of time is the winner.
You just blew my mind. I learned something completely new about puzzling today.
Yeah, it can be quite fun to watch. As a fair to middling player, it's a little intimidating for me to actually engage with because you do have to be ready to be thinking of a couple of pieces ahead, and my brain just doesn't work that way. That being said, the people who bust it out where on a weekly basis where I am are also the extremely good players. So I probably, if you could play a friendly game pretty easily, and I imagine that if you've got people who are maybe less differently competitive or strong than you are, it might be you might be able to wade into it a whole lot easier. But like I said, it's fun to watch. I'm going to do an episode on my podcast about puzzle chess specifically with Jessa Douglas, who we saw competing in the last round. She finished second nationally in the puzzle chess competition that was part of the U.S. Nationals speed puzzling competition.
Now we're looking at Allison Stormo.
Oh, yeah.
She'll also be competing on the team Puzzle Storm. And
Yeah,
she
she's
competed.
one of those. She's one of those people whose name becomes part of their team name.
Yeah.
In just fantastic ways. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you, but I was just got excited.
You're great. She also competed in the individuals competition at the USA JPA competition this year. So she's definitely getting involved in the speed puzzling community. It looks like she's been speed puzzling now for a little while, for 3 years. And she's from, I don't even know how far away it is, Bellingham, Washington?
It's a ways, a couple hours if by car.
Yeah, so traveling a little bit to get
Yeah,
here.
so it's an intentional effort to get down here. Unlike the folks who are coming from Vancouver, Washington, which we also appreciate, but is more a few minutes trip than a few hours trip. So while we've got some time, why don't you tell us a little bit about what completing the puzzle is all about? First of all, thanks for the sponsoring the live stream. That is amazing that you guys jumped in and made this happen. So everybody who's watching, you're watching because of completing the puzzle, sponsoring and making this happen for us. Not just putting up the money, but actually doing a lot of the work behind the scenes as well. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Rob. We're happy to spread the love of puzzling to as many people as possible. And we know it's not feasible for everyone who wants to be in Portland to be here and travel here. So we're happy that people can watch from wherever you're tuning in from. Completing the puzzle was founded about 4 years ago because we saw a problem when we were puzzling. So question for you, Rob. I know you're an avid puzzler. What do you do with all your puzzles when you're done with them?
Yeah, when we're done with the puzzles, we are, like a lot of people, we are sort of one-time puzzlers. We do a puzzle once and then we're kind of done with it. And we have no shortage of puzzles coming through. So puzzles either got to go to Goodwill, they have to go to puzzle swaps, or worst case scenario, sometimes the puzzle just got to go into recycling. So
so sad.
Yeah, so sad puzzles. We try and rehome them when we can, but that's not always possible.
Yeah, so that was exactly what was happening to us in the early days of COVID and everything shutting down, and we were puzzling like crazy, and so came up with the idea, to start renting puzzles so that people could get a puzzle delivered, do it once, and then send it back and get another puzzle. So you would never run out of new puzzles to do without having to store them and kind of have the waste of having something that you only do once. Right,
and the joy of a puzzle showing up at your doorstep periodically. Oh yeah, you've got a new kit. But let me ask you, how do you? If I'm shipping a puzzle back and forth, how do you make sure that the quality of the puzzle is still good the second or more time?
So whenever the puzzle comes back to us, we do have like a proprietary cleaning system, and we have people who man that system. They check the puzzle to make sure that it's still in good condition, because we obviously don't want to send out puzzles that are bending or damaged, broken, and so that's actually part of our process. Whenever we get the puzzles back, they go through that before they can be ready to go back out again.
Got it.
Yeah. So speaking of getting, excited about getting something in the mail, well, we actually just came out with these new reusable mailers. So it's even more fun to get it in the mail, because, what's more fun than this?
That does speak to a good time waiting to happen.
Yeah, and it's reusable. Just like, this whole idea and concept of not having things that are only single use. So this, is a reusable. Our members will be able to take their puzzle out, and it's with the zipper, and when they're done, they'll just zip it back up and send it back to us using the prepaid return label. So great thing here. Hopefully, our members will love it as much as we do. We've already been getting great feedback on these new mailers and how they just can't wait to get their puzzle to show up in the mail.
And inside the mailer, you get the puzzle is in a separate reusable bag, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
And then also the art is in the bag as well.
Yep. So there's a reference legend that's included, as well as the puzzle itself that comes in the bag, and that also allows us. The reference legend has information about the brand. It has information about if there's an artist or the puzzle itself. We provide all that information so you can learn a little bit more too. And, personally, we have over 1,300 different puzzles in our catalog. Crazy. So you can kind of, there's something for everyone. You never run out of puzzles to do. But I think one of the really great things is we have about 40 different brands of puzzles that we carry now, including we try to buy from a lot of, smaller, a lot of women-owned companies, people of color, things like that. Mm-hmm. And Kelly, who's actually here with Minty Fizz, we actually carry her puzzles.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but what I love about it is I think it introduces people to brands that they may not get to experience otherwise. And so we've actually heard that from our members that, they've never heard of Puzzle puzzles, or they've never heard of Art and Fable puzzles until they got one as part of their membership. and then they just fell in love with this brand of puzzles. And so it's a great way to introduce new brands to puzzlers as well.
Yeah, that's great. It's a low risk way of exploring a whole bunch of space and a bunch of different kinds of puzzles, maybe that you couldn't get, maybe that, like you said, are just regional or local, and you may find a new thing that you really love. And what I love about it is that the catalog itself just gives you an opportunity to explore a wide variety of puzzle styles, art styles, and choose those things that really resonate with you.
Yeah, and I think, the other piece of it is like the other piece of it is, honestly, some of these puzzles are really expensive. And if you haven't done that particular brand yet, you might be scared to try a new brand. And so it's also a great opportunity for you to get to try it without a lot of commitment, without a lot of cost. And then you can, figure out if you'd want to make the investment on a puzzle that you might want to keep and redo multiple times.
Right, and if you're a speed puzzler, you're probably going through a lot of puzzles, and so having a way of sort of cycling them out would be great. And if I recall, you've got something new for the speed puzzling community.
Well, it's funny that you say that, Rob. We actually have recently launched a 4-puzzle plan that some people who specifically are training for Worlds have told us that they've been using. It comes in this great box, and they get 4 puzzles shipped to them once a month, and that way they can just puzzle them, as fast or slow as they want. As they're practicing, when they're done, they just pack all their puzzles back up in here and ship them right back to us. And if they want to accelerate and get another 4 puzzle pack shipped right away, they can do that. But it's really, really great for these puzzlers who are, trying to get a lot of different puzzles, maybe try different brands. If they don't know what's coming up at a competition, they can try some different ones. If they have different brands that are going to be at different competitions, it's a great way for them to be able to try those and get practice on different brands as well.
And would I be correct in assuming that if you knew what kind of puzzles were in an upcoming competition, you might get several of them?
You potentially could if you go in and set up your wish list and just add a ton of that particular brand or only that brand to your wish list, then there's a really great chance that that's what you would get.
Cool. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for talking about that.
Yeah, thanks for asking. We, we love the puzzling community, and really, really happy to be here today with you. I mean, you know so much about it. I'm learning stuff every day, like puzzle chess.
Well, it looks like we're about 30, coming up on 32 minutes, and it looks like, I think this is Arena, and we're getting close to, we're seeing that not a lot of pieces left here, so I think we're going to be close to having our first person across the tape here at any time.
And this is what is just so fun. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, this
Arena here, she's going to be part of Rachel and Arena puzzles later today. And the pairs.
Yeah, and she's been at the national competitions for, I think, individuals, pairs, and teams. And in the last puzzle, where there was basically a window grid, and we saw people sort of getting, even the last few pieces were hard to place. This one, it seems like it might go a little faster. Of course, as I say that, we're watching the Arena struggle with the last few pieces here, but it seems more probable that people are going to be able to, because one of the things you like to do as a speed puzzler is finish in a final flourish, right? You want your last 8 to 10 pieces to go fast, and sometimes that happens and it makes you feel amazing. And the last puzzle really wasn't conducive for that particular kind of thing. But this one I think is more probable. You can see that she's just kind of slamming
And
those
there we
last
go.
ones
We
in.
got our first
And there
one
we go.
right under 33 minutes.
Nice. Well done, Irina.
How fast do you think her heart rate is right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we should put heart rate monitors on some of these folks, because as much as it looks like it, and I think she made it look as exciting as it is, to be honest with you, but as much as you look around the room and you see people just kind of looking like they're calmly putting together a puzzle, I know for a fact that a lot of people's hearts are racing the entire time, right? It's like, the outside is chill, but the inside is a storm.
And that is the number one reason I don't speed puzzle, Rob. I do it to de-stress, not increase my stress levels.
That's right. A lot of people will say that speed puzzling is taking the fun out of putting together a jigsaw puzzle, and what I say is to each their own. If you're a slow, I want to put together a 5,000 piece puzzle over the course of a couple of months, great, do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be the kind of person who takes a 500 piece puzzle and sees if you can do it in under an hour, that is amazing as well. So there's all kinds of things for folks to do.
So speaking of heart rate monitors, I'm not sure if you've seen on the Olympics where they actually had the heart rate readings of not the athletes, but their parents and family members in the audience watching them compete. And some of their heart rates were higher than like mine when I'm running. It was fascinating to watch. And it was funny. I forget which swimmer it was now, but when he came out of the water, they asked him, "What do you think your mom's heart rate was?" And he said, "Probably higher than mine." And I don't think he was wrong.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. I could definitely be much more invested in my kids finishing something than I might be even of my own.
I mean, I feel like my heart rate is pretty high right now, to be honest. Just watching them.
You see, Joyce has got some of these big cats finished in the middle. She's got sort of the sporadic ones of the small cats, but then a whole bunch of the tree, which is a sort of random branching set of things held off in a separate pile up there. And sometimes it's nice to have a pile set aside. Like if you can easily take a pattern out and put it into a pile, even if you're not going to use it right away because you know it's going to be hard, that reduces, like I was saying earlier, reduces the number of pieces you have to look at when you're looking for your next piece. So I think that even if she decides that she's not going to use those pieces, it's a smart move to take them out because they're easy to spot in this particular case. That kind of pattern of trees that's going on is easy to spot. And so if you can, without wasting a lot of time, pull those parts out, then that's time well spent. Now, I know that folks will argue with me that it is better to spend the time on looking at pieces that you can place than pulling out pieces that you can't. But I think that it depends on who you are. But there's definitely a trade-off to be had. You should explore that for yourself. But that reducing the visual clutter can make you faster.
And now we're looking at, we were looking at Caroline again, and now we have moved on. We're looking at Heidi.
Yeah.
Heidi's sister was competing earlier, and they're going to be competing in a little while.
Yeah,
in the
Heidi and
duos.
Heather, the Haynes sisters. I've seen them at a few competitions. They're delightful. But as I was saying in the last sounds like we got another finisher. But as I was saying in the last heat, most people you can point out in the speed jigsaw community are nice people. So it's not saying a ton by saying that they're great people. But they are.
Coming in second, we've got Jin Lee. And she was one of the ones that I mentioned maybe we should be watching.
Yeah,
She's
you were right.
Local.
Yep, she's finished first in pairs in the Portland Puzzle League here, so good job for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't know how fast you are, and it's good to come out and just have that validated.
Test your skills.
Yeah, there'll definitely be bragging rights for some of these folks at the next Portland Puzzle League meets.
Do you think some of the local puzzlers maybe do more pomegranate puzzles because they're in the area and have an advantage, or no?
That's a good question. I don't have a strong answer to that. As I mentioned, I was sort of surprised to find that pomegranate was local because I never heard of them in that context. So I'm not sure how much their reputation of being a local company is pervasive. Unlike, say, the Portland Puzzle Company,
The city's in the name.
Localness is right there. You can't get around it. So you know when you're dealing with the Portland Puzzle Company that they're a company in your area if you're from Portland.
So if you've recently joined us, we are in the singles preliminaries heat 2. We have our first two finishers. So Arena at the top and then Jin Lee right behind her. And they will both be moving on to the individual finals on Sunday. And earlier today, we had the individual preliminaries heat 1. So the top 13 from that event will be moving on. And Rob, how do these times compare to what we saw in heat 1? And I know it's a little hard to say, compare it's apples to oranges really, because they were completely different puzzles.
Yeah, in a way, almost literally apples to oranges, right? They're very different pictures. They're different kinds of things. But we saw the pieces per minute and then the times there in the scoreboard. The first round finished a little bit faster. They were at, I think, 9.7 pieces per minute. They finished around 31. Andrea Ping, who finished first, finished at 31 minutes and 2 seconds. So that puzzle went a little faster. That being said, they're also the people that we expected to be the strongest in this competition. A lot of them were in that first heat. So we had Andrea Ping, fourth in the world at the last World Individuals, and strong in general. We had the Reuter sisters, who are a powerhouse duo and increasingly a powerhouse set of individuals. Out in the front, Jessa Douglas, who's also a strong individual. So I'm not surprised that this one is taking a little longer, even though if this might be an easier puzzle. I'm not saying that only because I'm trying to protect my reputation of saying this was an easier puzzle, but I think that some of the really fast people, this has less obviously fast people in this round.
And we just had Soren Burns finish. She is going to be coming in third, I believe, and she's going to be participating in the World competition here coming up as well. So
yeah, a lot of people head off to Worlds.
And I think we are going to have Arena actually coming up to talk to us in just a few minutes.
Delightful.
So she's going to be joining us actually right now, so we can talk to her. And hi, come on.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So yep, really close to the mic, so just look at it, don't look at us.
Okay. Sounds good.
So we have Arena here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you thought when you first opened and saw the puzzle?
It looked hard, not gonna lie, because I guess like the art ones I think overall I find a little harder. But the first thought was the top kind of bluish, grayish section. I could do that first, then kind of build my way around. But it was nice. I really enjoyed the actual puzzle, the cats and stuff. That was good.
Is there anything that tripped you up particularly?
I think I kind of struggled with all the branches. I thought I could do that really quickly, but I was like, they all kind of at the very both the big ones, the little ones at the top, and then the bigger ones kind of sideways. I thought I can kind of lay that out, but they all looked very similar. So I struggled with those a little bit, but once I got that, the cats were easier to spot within the photo.
Oh,
so
nice.
Good. Mm-hmm.
And how did you get into speed puzzling?
So me and my friend who's here as well, we kind of used to puzzle and drink wine, watch TV, something like that together for a couple of years. And then we were doing that one time and we were like, we can probably compete in this. We're pretty good. So I Googled speed puzzling contests, and we found one in, I live in San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
but we found one in Half Moon Bay, a wooden one. So we went to that, and that's kind of where we discovered the puzzle community, and we since then got into the actual competitions. So it was really, really fun.
Nice.
This was a year and a half ago, so this is pretty recent.
Do you still do a lot of wooden competitions, or?
I try to go to those whenever I'm in town. The person in Half Moon Bay runs them every month, so we try to do those as often as we can. But
Nice.
for the most part, I like the cardboard ones.
I was saying, I feel like personally, wooden puzzles are a different class.
Yeah,
They take a different set of skills.
They're harder. We didn't realize it was going to be wooden the first time we did it. So we came in and then we were strategizing. We have a little bit of an argument about what the strategy should be working together. And then all of a sudden we opened the box and we're like, oh, everything we just talked about out the window, improvise. And then it was good. It was very fun.
How much strategizing did you, with a 300-piece puzzle, do you jump right in and just start going, or do you?
I usually, I think just I'm better at improvising. So I like whatever works and flows right at the moment. I kind of pivoted a little bit after the little branches at the top. I was like, this is too hard. I moved on to the side tree, and then I came back and worked that way. So moving around helped a lot, I think, for this one.
For someone who's just starting to get into puzzling and into speed puzzling, wants to get into speed puzzling, do you have any advice or tips that you would give them?
I think just start doing it. That was kind of the biggest thing. I signed up for some of the online speed puzzling contests, and then the more you do, the more you want to do it, I feel. So that was kind of to get into it. And then for actual competing, I think trying different strategies on your own time really helped me as well. Doing the borders first and then trying again, but doing sorting and then kind of seeing what works better for you. That helped me, I think.
Oh, I just noticed you have your nails
Oh yeah.
puzzle pieces.
Yeah, that's funny. I actually got inspired from you, I think, on the Instagram story. I was like, that's a
Awesome.
great idea.
Yay.
And so I did the same
Could
thing.
be a nail puzzle
Influencer.
nail influencer.
Yeah, so that's really funny.
That's hilarious. And what's your favorite kind of puzzle if you're not training for a competition? Like if you just want a puzzle for fun, what do you like to do?
I do like landscapes. I'm not gonna lie, like those like where you have your sky and you kind of like take your time to build that, and then like you kind of go through that. So I do like, I think those a lot.
So once you discovered speed puzzling, have you been doing a lot of puzzling for recreation?
Much less. We even like whenever we meet up now with my friend, it's like we have to puzzle practice, and we can't we don't spend as much time, drinking wine, but we'll make time for that.
Yeah. Puzzle and wine goes great together.
Yes.
And so sorry, one last question. So are you doing anything specific to prepare for your next? You're doing pairs next, right?
Pairs next.
Yeah. So.
We're just gonna improvise, I think, because we were working this morning, both of us remotely. So we kind of flew in last night, and we're like, okay, take the half day. So we didn't have too much time today, but we've practiced before, so hopefully it'll go okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good luck in
Thank you.
pairs and good luck on Sunday in the finals.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That was great.
All right.
All right, we've
let's
seen
see.
a lot of people finish.
I
since-
know. Let's see who we need to catch up on. We're waiting for the leaderboard to catch up to some of these finishers. We just had Allison Stormo finish, so she was the latest finisher. Joyce looks like she's about to finish. Oh, and we just had, I think,
Yeah.
is that Emily? Who is that?
I saw Kelly Wesley finish.
Nope, Kelly finished. Yep, Kelly finished. So if you aren't following her already at Minty Fizz, she is. Her
Yeah,
puzzles
so-
are beautiful. If you love gradients like I do, they're super fun. They're all her art, so definitely watch her.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the number of people who are taking on missing piece. Before I finish that thought, just a reminder that if you are missing a piece, it is a 10-second penalty. The 10 seconds typically will start as soon as you announce that you're done and you're looking for your piece. So if you're looking around for 10 seconds, basically the rule is that we stop you accruing any more time after 10 seconds. Looks like she had misplaced 2 pieces. Found them both, so good for her. Sometimes, though, not all the pieces are in the box. It's rare, but it can happen. I've seen as many as 5 pieces missing from a box.
Oh, I've had a whole section missing when we opened it, and a duplicate of that of a different section. So something really got messed up in packaging.
Hey, there's
and
Joyce.
Joyce finished. Yay! If you like watching funny puzzling related videos, follow her on Instagram or TikTok at joyce.puzzles. They're really, really fun and brings a little joy into every day.
She's sporting the puzzle pants.
Yep. She's got all her rainbow puzzle gear on. And I love her earrings too. You
Yeah,
know,
full puzzle gear.
I went off and left my puzzle earrings at home, so I don't know. You have only a few opportunities to wear it, and I don't know how I did that.
Now I'm embarrassed to be around you.
I know. What am
Could
I
have been
doing?
wearing puzzle earrings.
At least
and
I got
aren't.
my puzzle nails done.
That's true. And I got
Couldn't
nothing.
leave those at home.
Yeah, so good on you. All right, we're back to Harold. You see that he started off really strong, and
Yep.
he had that kind of top finished, and then was building out the edges. But as I've said before, people have their areas of specialty, and if you hit the things that are your sweet spot, you can plow through them. But if something is really off your sweet spot, it can slow you down pretty substantially.
Yep. Yeah,
So
he's definitely struggling.
Somebody finish over here.
Yeah, let's see who that is. That
It's like
is
Having the scoreboard's not getting updated.
Daria Lalian. And she's also going to be competing coming up in the duo prelims.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Looks like she has done some other puzzle competitions as well. So, yeah, good job.
Yeah, I'm eager to see. It looked like there was a tight pack of folks who finished in a fairly similar times, and I'm eager to see how that looks, because I don't think we saw that as much in the last heat. I think we saw much more spread out.
I was just thinking the same thing. Like, it feels like a lot of people are finishing kind of all around the same time. Let's see who
Yeah, and there's somebody just interesting fact that what happens is that you have people who are walking around, volunteers. A competition like this is run on the backs of volunteers. It really is, and the Portland Puzzle Company has had a great turnout of people volunteering to help out in a bunch of different ways. But you'll see people in these kind of fluorescent vests, as you can see in the background here, and they're looking to see how people are doing and making sure that when somebody is about finished, they're there to record their official time. So that's what you were seeing earlier is somebody will finish. We'll probably see it right here as this person gets into their last few pieces. And then the volunteer will come by with a piece of paper, take their name, make sure everybody agrees on what their time was, and then that'll go off and get entered into the system.
Yeah, and it looks like this may be Mary Sharp if I have the puzzle numbers and names correct.
Seems right. Yeah, we have a arcane lookup system here to see who is at which table. We can see pretty much as you can on the stream in terms of information as to who is where, and so we have a grid where we're just trying to look up. Okay, well, this is the 7th table down. We know who's at 7th table down.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
there we
let's
go.
see, we just had a finish right there. That
Oh,
is
somebody's got books as a competing hobby. I don't know. She's got to specialize. Yep, Mary Sharp.
that was Turi Abbott, I believe. Oh, wait.
Yeah, there we go. So there's the scoreboard there, and we can see that there was a tight finish that we didn't get a chance to catch in terms of Allison Stormo finishing in 4th and Emily Frost finishing 20 seconds behind her in 5th. We were talking in the last heat how important it can be that for the little things to be done right. Because if you struggle opening a box or struggle getting the pieces flipped up right, that takes time. It takes real time, and it can set you back. So if you get really competitive, you'll find that you're going to practice all those silly little things like how fast does it take to flip over all the pieces? Can I do that in a better way? Because 20 seconds is definitely something that you can change just by speeding up how fast you flip over all the pieces.
Yep, and I'm just going to correct, the last person who finished was actually Leslie Richardson, so I had that wrong. The table layout here is a little
Great.
wrong, but yeah, she's new to Speed Puzzling World, and she's excited to be here and connect with everyone. So
Love that. I love all the new people who are turning out for events like this.
yeah, so we're excited. We now have Kelly, who's going to come up from Minty Fizz Puzzles, and she's going to come talk to us. So excited to have her.
Sounds like she's being distracted, but
Maybe
we'll
in
have
one
her
more
up here in a
minute.
second.
Yeah.
Second.
In the meantime, we have the leaderboard. It looks like we're a few people behind on the updating, but so far, I think we've had over 13 people finish already.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that
So-
the pieces per minute, which is that PPM column, which is just how many pieces did they have to do overall and divide by how much time did they do it in. So pieces per minute, that tells you that they're putting in about, at the top level, about 9 pieces per minute, which is a great speed. But you can see that, or rather in the first heat, people were finishing, the first person finished at around 9.7 pieces per minute. And that'll be an interesting thing to watch as we get into pairs and teams, because that time will show how each person on the team contributed to that. So you start to be able to see how efficient that team is relative to the individuals who comprise it. You can see that maybe an individual finished their puzzle in 9 pieces per minute, but as a team they finished in 7 pieces per minute. So they're performing, they're not moving as fast as a team as they would be if they were a bunch of individuals.
So now we're looking at Aeva Vea. She's almost finished, but we're going to we have Kelly from Minty Fizz Puzzles with us.
Hey, Kelly.
She actually just jumped in. She wasn't scheduled to compete in the individuals, but she just jumped in and competed. And how'd you feel?
I feel really good. I always get really, really nervous before the events, but when I finish, I feel extremely, extremely good. So
Now, as soon as the time starts, does all that nerves just kind of fade away, or is it like getting going as part of the process of getting calm?
well, for me, it kind of keeps going, I would say. I mean, once I put in like a few and I kind of get my bearings, it goes down a little bit, but then it kind of jumps back up when I feel like I might be getting stuck or in a section that might be a little bit trickier. It goes back up, and
Did you have that journey with this puzzle?
Oh, yes.
So talk to us a little bit about like how did you experience this puzzle? What were the highlights and what were some of the challenging parts?
Okay. Well, I really liked the sky with the kind of the lacy trees there in the background.
Oh,
So I
interesting.
started with that. Honestly, the tree branches were the hardest part for me because they're in multiple places on the puzzle.
The horizontal branches?
Yeah, the horizontal ones, because they're, like I said, multiple places. So it was hard to know which exactly it went, or even in the trunk. And that's when I started to get a little more panicky, but it worked out.
Yeah, and it looks like quite a few people are kind of saving those horizontal tree branches kind of to the towards the end. Either that or all the animals down at the bottom.
That's what I did at the end, was the animals at the bottom, or all the cats. Yeah, definitely.
Did you find that those were a challenge as well?
By the time that I'd gotten to that part, it wasn't challenging because it was the last thing that I'd done. But if I'd started with it, it would definitely have been really challenging.
And was that intentional that you set those?
Yes, it was. That card, I was like, I'm not going to think about it until the very end.
So I know that I don't know, but based on your puzzles that you create, they're very different in style compared to this one that you did.
It's very true.
Yeah. So when you would choose a puzzle to do yourself, would it be something a little bit different than this, or?
I kind of do just about everything. I kind of go back and forth. I really love colorful puzzles, as you know, because that's what I make. But I also like to do puzzles like this. I do just about anything. I'll even do some of the really challenging solid colored puzzles even. So I kind of, I'll do it all.
All original art from you, or?
The 7 that I have created are all original art
Nice.
done by me. They're all like abstract, sort of rainbowy inspired puzzles.
And are they the kinds of puzzles that you're like, a speed puzzler would love this, or a speed puzzler would hate this?
They would hate it. I have been told by many people that my puzzles are a bit on the challenging side.
Right.
One of my puzzles, the easiest 500, has been used in a speed puzzling competition before, but other than that, I would not recommend my puzzles as speed. I guess it would be a marathon speed because it would take quite a while. So.
Got it.
Are all your puzzles random cut? Or are they, what is the cut of all of them?
They are ribbon cut. Most, all the traditional shape pieces, which is my preference.
Yep.
The 500 is mostly the 2x2, except they're still varied, so it works out. And then the 1,000 pieces there's more piece shape variation.
Yep. And for those who may be joining and aren't familiar with your puzzle company, can you just tell everyone what it is?
Yeah, definitely. My puzzle company is Minty Fizz Puzzles. I started it, about 4 years ago, I'd say at this point. I was a teacher previously, and I decided that I want to do something a little bit different with my life. And I was like, well, colors make me happy, puzzles make me happy, art makes me happy, so I'm just going to combine the passions that I have and create this puzzle company. And it's very small, but it's mighty, and I love it.
And where can people find your puzzles?
They can find them at my website, mintyfizzpuzzles.com, and you can also find them on Amazon.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking to us, Kelly.
Well, thanks for having me.
And will we see you in any other competitions?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. I just seen my score just got placed up there, so I got 4th, which is good.
Congrats.
So I'll do the finals, and I'm doing pairs with Zin, and I have a team of 4 as well.
Great.
So
And what is your pairs and team name so we can look out for you?
my pair's name is Extra Minty, and I can't remember my team's name also. Oh, it's random. It's something about random cut or the cutting edge or
Random cuts.
random cuts. Thank you. I spaced. Yes, that's it.
It's okay. Everyone will be looking out for you and cheering you on.
Okay. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
having
Kelly.
me.
Yeah, nice job. All right, we're down through 16. 16 at least on the scoreboard. We're coming up on an hour. We got about 2 minutes left in the hour. This will go for 2 hours. And so I think we're making it pretty far through the competition. I want to take a quick look and see where we were in the last heat at about this time.
Yeah, so we've got our top 13 qualified. So it looks like through Leslie, we're going to be moving on to that individual finals on Sunday. y'all can tune in and watch it live.
Looks like we're tracking about where we were actually in the last puzzle, where we had about 19 people finished within the first hour, and we're in that ballpark, plus or minus one. So looks like we're pacing about the same, actually, in terms of the entire competitive group here.
And we're
Yeah,
watching
there's-
Ashley Wu now.
Ashley working on the cats at the bottom, just like Kelly was talking about, leaving those till the end, allowing you to kind of sort through them and hopefully not have to deal with trying to figure out whether there are parts of the cats above or below.
Jessica Robbins working her way through.
Yeah, she's got it looks like she's using a sheet of paper over there as a sorting tray. I don't know if that's
sure.
actually what's going on there, or
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on over there. Oh, we got, let's see, Anna Lee looks like she's about to finish.
I think it's Anna Lee.
Oh, you're right. You are so right.
I know because she provided us that feedback, so I
You
want to
are
make sure
right.
that we use it.
Anna Lee.
Anna Lee, thank you for that information.
Yep.
And also, nice job. Looks like she's coming up to the end here, finishing just under the hour. Nice.
Great job. Anna Lee.
Hopefully, everybody's thanking their mom, because it sounds like moms and grandmas are how a lot of people got started in speed puzzling, or puzzling in general, and then transitioned into speed puzzling.
And
We were
Yale just finished as well.
We were talking last time around that a lot of people's origin stories, as it were, start with their parents, typically moms, and sometimes their grandmas, get them into puzzling, and that's what led them into being the puzzle demons that they are today.
Yeah, how did you get started puzzling, Rob?
I have no particular origin story. We puzzled like I think most families do occasionally. Anytime we did a puzzle, I was like, wonder how fast we did that relative to other people. And at the time, this was probably 2018 or so. This was not really an easy way to know. And then it sort of hit the back burner. The kid went off to college. And then my wife and I were reading A.J. Jacobs' book, The Puzzler. Are you familiar with this?
I'm not.
So A.J. Jacobs is sort of he throws himself into something typically for a year. Like his most recent book is The Year of Living Constitutionally, where he tries to take everything that is in the Constitution, in the context of the Constitution, and live by that for a year, and then
Fascinating.
writes a book about it. So one of the things what he did was he wrote a book about different kinds of puzzles, and chapter 1 was on jigsaw puzzles. And we read that chapter, and we were like, he went off to the world competition in 2019, I think. And he was the U.S. representative because nobody else had done it. And we were like, hey, wait, there's now competitive jigsaw puzzling. Maybe we should look into that. And we did not read any more of that book. We got through the first chapter on jigsaw puzzling, went straight to doing jigsaw puzzling, immediately found out that there's San Diego competition, the nationals competition, were the next month. So we started practicing, and we haven't been back to that book yet. And I'm afraid to, honestly. If I read the next chapter of that book, then I'm going to leave this behind and do whatever that thing was, apparently.
I'll have to check them out. That sounds really interesting. I have the very stereotypical puzzling origin story of
Oh, yeah?
I started puzzling with my mom and
Uh-huh.
sister.
Do you remember those events?
I mean, I do remember. I remember having those big bin puzzles in our cabinet that also held all the games, and I remember doing it at our kitchen table. And yeah, I do remember. I couldn't tell you exactly what age or anything like that, but I do remember doing that, and we still do it. We still do it today. My mom and sister. My mom actually lives with my sister, and so they puzzle together quite a bit, actually. I mean, I think they have a puzzle going all the time on their table, which it's helpful that they have someone in the family that owns a puzzle company.
They're not lacking for supply.
They're not. They get constant supply. But yeah, whenever I'm with them or we're all together, we definitely have a puzzle going.
You have to be careful once you get into speed puzzling, because you'll run across puzzles out in the wild just sitting there begging to be put together. And you're like, I can put that together. I got about like 10 minutes. I can finish that puzzle off. But that's not the intent of most puzzles out in the wild. Most
Like
puzzles out in the wild are meant for whatever community you find them
Yes.
in to make slow and steady progress. And so
Like the library puzzle. You know, like you go to the library and there's
Yeah,
a puzzle
there's a
laid out at
puzzle
the
out.
library for you to put like a couple pieces in, and then the next person comes and puts a couple pieces in.
That's right. My parents live in a retirement community where there's always a puzzle out, and I have to walk past it and go, the goal is not to finish the puzzle. I'm not going to be the hero if I come in and just finish this puzzle. So just keep in mind that if you get into speed puzzling, it's a superpower you have to use with caution.
I love that. All right, let's see. I think we're going to get to talk to someone else coming up.
All right, we're looking at Zach Ponza in the meantime.
I think we are. Yeah. Not Jeff.
Not Jeff.
Okay, so we have a little under an hour left, and we have Joyce
Hello.
joining us.
Joyce, you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Joyce.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. How do you
Yeah.
feel after that round?
Good, relieved. I'm really out of practice, and I came here last minute. I wasn't planning to be here, and so just kind of jumped in, and it was fun though getting back into it.
What was the last competition you have done?
It was nationals.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah.
been a few days.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah. Nice. So how was it getting back into it?
Fun. I did feel a little rusty, and kind of the adrenaline. My hands were shaky, especially the last piece. I was like, get in there, get in there.
Yes,
and
I was
just, like,
talking that the
couldn't get
last
in
piece
there.
is often the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
But-
always makes me really nervous too when someone has last piece and then they kind of like slide it off the table or
Oh
something.
my gosh, I know. I saw one recently. I think it was in maybe Europe somewhere, and she posted a video of herself at the start. She tore the bag, pieces flew everywhere. It was like nightmare scenario.
Nightmare.
Yes, I saw that
Painfully
recently.
hurt. Yeah.
Oh, you have to be so careful.
Yeah.
You have to have everything just perfect, like down your technique.
I,
We were talking about that
for
earlier.
sure. The bag opening technique, I keep it really small and contained. Like I put it as close to the table as possible and then lift up. And like I always lift the bag and check if I have any spare pieces left in there before I toss it.
Yes,
Yeah.
because if you toss that bag on the floor and somebody
Yeah.
swipes it up, that
Yep.
piece is gone.
Yep.
Nice. So tell us how this puzzle went for you.
So it was, pretty challenging for a 300 piece, but
Did you see the last puzzle?
a little bit, yeah.
What-
But I'm feeling like based on the fastest times, they're kind of on par,
Okay.
But yeah, it's just because there's so many repeating colors and elements. That's kind of all distributed all over the place, so you don't really have big sections to work on. So that was kind of the tricky
Right.
thing for me.
Right.
Yeah.
What did you think about the people? We've had a couple of people talk about the branches seemed like they were going to be easy and then turned out not to be. Did you have that experience?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't really feel like the branches were a big thing for me. It was the cats that were hard for me.
The
Yeah.
ones at the bottom.
Because there were a lot of pieces where it's the branch, but then something else. So there is that line, there's that border that you can kind of pick out.
Right.
So I went on that a lot. I did, the moon's obviously really distinct, so I kind of picked that out in more of the solid blue sky, and then that had just like a little bit of the tree branches going. And then actually the rest, like kind of the bulk of the trees, that's what I did last.
Okay, so
Yeah.
some people have been saving the small cats at the bottom for last, but you saved the branches for last.
Yeah.
The trees in the background.
Yeah. For me, because, the cats have a lot of different colors, they're just more
Right.
distinct. For me, that was easier to pick out and place. Yeah.
That's great. And so you're going to be moving on to the finals on Sunday.
Congrats.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize
Yeah,
that.
sorry you qualified. You're doing it again.
Yeah. I was just like trying to finish it, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm like 10th or whatever,
Yeah.
and I literally did not realize I'm going to the finals. So
Yeah,
That's right.
You qualified
Okay.
for the finals. You're also, where else can people see you competing?
So I'm going to be in the next block, which is the first preliminary for the duo. And I literally met my partner today. We arranged it like 2 days ago through, friend of a friend of a friend. She needed a partner. Her original one dropped out last minute. So we chatted, we found each other, and she's great. All puzzle people are great. So it's kind of really easy to just drop in last minute into a team. Same thing with my the team final that's Saturday, right? Tomorrow?
Yes,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So, yeah, I don't know any of them. We just met today.
Wow.
So do y'all have were you able to put together a strategy with your pairs partner and with the team since you're coming together so quickly, or is it just going to be like, we'll see what happens?
I think at this point it's a little see what happens. I mean, my pairs partner and I, we chatted a little bit like, what do you like to do? What do you not like to do? And we're not edges first people. Like we don't insist on having the edges done first. And we talk just like, do you sort? Do you not? It seems like we're kind of similar actually. But we haven't really figured out the team strategy at all. But honestly, I'm here just to hang out because I'm so out of practice. And I think that my bar is maybe don't be last, and I'm good. So
I love that. Yeah.
Based on your scoring today in this competition, last doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem. So.
I hope not.
And I will say that was the one time I speed puzzled. That was what I wanted to do. I actually just wanted to finish before the time ran out. That was my whole goal, is just finish within the time.
Yeah.
And so you're more than not last today. You're qualified for finals.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy. Okay. I'm going to be tired.
Do you want to tell maybe our viewers where they can find you online and what you do online, if for people who aren't familiar with you?
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram, and my handle is @joyce.puzzles. I post, I'm really silly and goofy and weird, so I just do a lot of like weird videos of me, lip syncing to audio, or I do a recurring thing where I made like a giant puzzle piece that I wear over my head.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of play missing piece. And she, is the missing piece. So it's like, what is her perspective or point of view as a missing piece? And, talking to people or talking to puzzlers and things like that. So
Wow, I have so many questions for missing piece now.
Yeah, right. If you can find her.
Yeah, exactly. It must be a lonely life.
Yeah, for sure.
I
But
bet
she's
I bet
pretty
she
upbeat.
overhears
She's pretty
a lot
sassy.
of stuff, though, that people don't realize where she is. Like she's hidden under the table or
Or in
behind
the
the
couch cushions.
Yeah.
Under the rug. Yeah,
She
for
probably
sure.
hears all kinds of stuff that people don't realize.
For sure.
The notes that we get back from people that realize, we get a lot of people who say, oh, my puzzle was missing a piece. And then they're like, oh, no, I actually found it
Yeah.
in the most random place you
Right.
could possibly think of. And,
Yeah.
and that's where they found it.
I think the weirdest place I ever found one was inside the slipper that I had been wearing. I don't know how it got in there, but I had this puzzle. I thought it was missing that piece. I was really bummed, and then there it was. So they just really are sneaky. They get in all kinds of places.
So now, is this a gateway to subsequent competitions, or are you?
I hope so. I would like to. I definitely like just going to the events and seeing everybody. I have kind of taken a break since nationals because I have like back and neck issues, and people don't realize how physically taxing speed puzzling is because you're kind of bent over an image, but also I know for myself when I stand I have a better vantage point and I perform better. And that's even more of a strain. So I've been kind of trying to strengthen my back. And I know other speed puzzlers do exercise and they actually work out in preparation for competition, which I think people may not realize or think is a thing, but it's a thing.
Yeah, no, I saw a lot of competitors stretching prior to the event starting, and we're not seeing that and showing that on the live stream so that people can get an idea at home, though. People are actually stretching from preparing for these events. So, does that makes me think that speed puzzling should be considered maybe an Olympic sport one day?
Maybe. I think just this weekend, ESPN2 is broadcasting the tournament of pieces that was at Origins in June. So we've made it to television.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see more of that, honestly. I've seen the weirdest things on broadcast sports channels, like pillow fighting, slap fighting. They have all kinds of weird stuff. Why not speed puzzling?
Yeah.
The fact that cornhole has made it as big as it has.
Right.
Speed puzzling, I think, is definitely up there in athleticism.
I have to agree.
Yeah, my favorite weird sport is I don't remember the exact name, but it's something like dodgeball juggling,
What?
where you're juggling and trying to play dodgeball at the same time.
Okay, so I thought it was juggling dodgeballs.
No,
Okay,
it's like
got
you
it.
juggling and hurling and trying to dodge at the same time.
That doesn't even sound possible.
And yet, this is the way the world works. We will explore every competitive space we can possibly think of.
Absolutely. And actually, Eleni and I were joking because someone came up with this idea about, oh, a great date night activity would be puzzling by candlelight. And it's like, actually, you need really good lighting. So we were joking that that should be an event, like speed puzzling by candlelight.
Oh, yeah. How is the lighting here? I've been talking about the lighting from an outsider perspective.
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah?
I think, these lights have that kind of diffusion, which is nice. But when I'm at home, I actually practice with bad lighting just to be prepared. Like, I try to recreate the conditions as close as possible. So, at Nationals, we had the pairs finals, 1,000 piece on half a table.
Yep.
And so I cut down a foam board to that dimension to limit myself to that space. And my partner, who also lives in Las Vegas, we would get together and we practice on that space and like in bad lighting. And, we put the box in a bag, that you have to like rip up. We do all of it just to make sure that we're comfortable with that. And because you want to start well and not feel flustered at any point. So you want to feel like, okay, I've done this before.
Right. Building that habit makes it automatic, which is great.
Yeah.
So do you have a way that you, if a puzzle is wrapped, or you run your thumb down the line kind of thing? How do you get into the puzzle?
I'm really bad at taking the plastic off of the puzzle, so I'm actually relieved that any of the competitions I've done, they've pre-cut that. So
Yeah,
if I
it's become
ever
quite
get
common.
into a competition or an A2, I might be screwed. Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to notice because the examples that we have are
Yeah.
wrapped. The ones out there were not.
So they're
No,
pre-cut.
ours were unwrapped.
Oh,
We just
great.
had to rip the interior bag
Interior
open.
bag,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause that would definitely be challenging for me as well to have to rip out off the exterior plastic too.
Yeah.
It's my one skill, so I'm sort of sad that Joyce is right that most competitions nowadays, because I think major brands like Ravensburger have moved to plastic tabs
Yeah,
on
the
the
stickers.
bottoms, right? Little stickers, and so most competition they're not really easily. You can't really
Right.
easily open them, so most competitions are just severing them to begin with, so you don't have to
Yeah.
go through that part.
I think they started doing that with last year's Worlds, and then the U.S. Nationals kind of took that on. And I assume they'll do that again at Worlds because
I think
the
the-
Ravensburger's their sponsor again.
I think Northwest Regionals did the same thing. They didn't-
Okay.
No bags.
Yeah.
So it's the one thing I could bring to my team.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've
Oh,
had
we got another
quite a few
finish.
people finish, so we're looking pretty good with just under 45 minutes left. We just had Mariah Austin finish.
Just from what I can see, it looks like some other people kind of did what I did, and I did the top trees last.
Yeah. Yeah, it's trees and cats seem to be the trees and the bottom cats are the
And
ones
then
that people saved
they
until
put them
last.
they put them together. Tree branches and fur. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Exactly. I was saying earlier that fur is the nemesis of many a speed puzzler, but
Yes.
this seemed less like the kind of fur you have to worry about.
Right. At least it's not a photograph. It's
Yeah, exactly.
illustrated.
Like
yeah.
the worst is like a dog's face. Like if you have just a dog's face or the side profile of a dog.
All the whiskers.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Ashley Mabry who just finished, so she'll be up in the duo prelims coming up too with the pair I Got One.
Love that name.
I love looking at all the names.
I know.
It's so fun.
I inherited my team names because I didn't form them, but I got great names. So my pair is I put pants on for this.
Oh, I love
Yes.
Oh, I met your partner actually in the
Carolyn.
elevator this morning.
Yeah, that
That's
bright
so-
pink
so-
shirt.
Yeah, she told me your name, and I was like, oh, that's really funny.
Yeah, and then our team name is I think We Come in Pieces. Yeah.
That's cute. Really, really cute. I mean, there's so many great puns you can make off of the puzzle stuff too.
the puzzle
Yeah.
community is nothing if not lovers of puns,
Yes. Yes.
puzzle-related puns.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yep. Yeah, we're making good progress here. Let's see. We have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 people left with just under 45 minutes to go. So
Yeah.
looking good.
We finished with about there we go. We finished with about 22 folks finished under the first hour, where we had 19 last time. So it's pacing, like you said, Joyce. It's about the same as the last one. I was thinking this one might be slightly easier, but it turns out not. It is one of the ongoing struggles of creating puzzle competition puzzles and selecting them, is that one person's idea of simple is not another person's idea of simple.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell whether something is in fact easy, even if it looks easy, until you actually
Right.
start putting it together.
Yeah. I had not seen this one, but it may just be that I hadn't seen this. Are these new releases? Do we know? Or are they?
I actually don't know.
Don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
We could probably find that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually should probably find that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we will. I got a sneak peek at some of the other ones, and I'm really excited to see what y'all puzzlers think of some of
No
the other
spoilers.
puzzles that are coming.
Yeah. I'm excited
No
to see.
spoilers other than that, but yeah.
I still haven't ever done a Portland Puzzle Company, so I'm sure in one of the rounds I'll get one, and I'm just curious to see. But I saw someone lift it, so it seems like it has a good fit. And pomegranates I love, I do a lot of, so I'm familiar, and I knew it was going to be good quality. And I saw someone else walking around the room, with the whole puzzle put together.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was my teammate.
That's awesome.
So taking the puzzle lift challenge to the next level.
Yeah.
Can you walk around with it for a while? Well, if you can't manage to get if you don't end up with a Portland puzzle in competition, we could probably find you one.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We know some people.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting. This person has a edge piece left. Must be a missing piece.
Nope.
Oh, there is. Yeah, on the right
Yeah,
edge.
I thought I saw it.
I didn't find my last edge piece until I had maybe 15, pieces left. It just happens sometimes.
No, you're right. It does.
You think, and plus, I think too, that edge piece has some white on it, or off-white that kind of blends in with the table, so it's a little hard to see.
Yeah. Whenever I'm missing an edge piece like that, I have to just be like, I can't focus on it.
Yeah.
It will come. Like if it's in the
Yeah.
pieces, it will show up. You can't go hunting. Like it's not a good strategy, generally speaking, to go looking for a missing piece. You just got to find the ones that speak to you and put them in there. And so,
Yeah.
so you have to have faith that the process will reveal those pieces if they are around somewhere.
It's definitely a shift because the way I slow puzzle, if you will, is pretty different than how I speed puzzle. I really do change up my approach because
Really?
because when I'm quote unquote slow puzzling, sometimes I just get stuck and like no, I'm gonna find that one piece. I have to, or I can't move on. But you can't do that in speed. So if anyone's new to speed puzzling, that's a thing to know is that it's not just doing what you do but faster. It's you actually have to apply different strategies and approaches.
right.
So that was something that was new to me. And
Yeah,
I
you have to
had
make
to kind of
different choices.
experiment and
Yeah, I do love
Yeah.
when I'm slow puzzling, the luxury of just going, I'm going to go find that piece. Because when you're speed puzzling,
Yeah.
you can't, like you said, you're not allowed, like you just don't have the time to go find that piece. So sometimes I'm just like, I'm going to go hunt for that piece because I can.
Yeah. And I like calling it slow puzzling because I feel like it's like slow jam. I feel like it's more of a vibe
That's how I
than just
puzzle.
regular puzzling.
Yep.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's how I puzzle. I usually have like an audio book or something on the
Yeah.
background on TV. I have my glass of wine.
Yeah.
It's like how I relax at the end of a long day.
Yeah.
I might finish a puzzle in a night. I might not. It's okay.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's because for me too, that's like, it's my meditation. It's my way to unwind. So I didn't think speed puzzling was for me. I thought, why would you want to be stressed out while puzzling?
Yeah.
And then I gave it a try and it was really fun. And so I like having both. And
Yeah, you have two different gears now.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, E.B. Karen, who's one of the fastest puzzlers in the country and in the world, she's really fast. I remember reading something she said in an interview about how actually when she's specifically speed puzzling, her mind gets into such a focused state, even more beyond when she's, slow puzzling. So I thought that was really interesting. So maybe even for her, that's where she kind of gets that into flow state.
Right.
like that
Everything
kind
sort of fades away.
Right.
Yeah. Are you able to hyper focus like that?
Sometimes, yeah. I do experience time moving differently when I'm speed puzzling.
Oh, interesting.
Because if
Wow.
I do bother to look up at the time, I'm always surprised. Like, oh, it doesn't feel like, I feel like I've been taking longer, but it actually hasn't been that long. So it's
I do
really
love
easy,
those
yeah.
moments of delight when you look up and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, less time has passed.
Yeah.
You heard that from Joyce, y'all. If you want time to move slower, start speed puzzling. If you
Yeah,
feel like
that's
life
it.
is moving too fast,
Yeah,
just speed puzzle.
exactly. Please don't send me angry emails.
No, it is very interesting though how time really does seem to move different according to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Catherine here, working her way through, just over 30 minutes to go.
Software engineer, looks like. One of the things that I find is that a lot of the fastest puzzlers in the world have engineering science kinds of backgrounds,
lot
which
of
is
STEM
interesting.
folks.
Yeah, so I'm continuing to poke at that because I'm curious to whether I just am talking to specific people who know that or who are of that kind, or is this actually pervasive?
Yeah. That's so interesting. I would not consider myself a STEM person. I definitely lean more towards creative, I would say. And I feel like a lot of puzzlers I know are very creative also.
Sure, and you can be
So,
both. I don't want to cast aspersions that people aren't creative, but I
There-
notice a lot of the folks that I've talked to are in sciencey or engineering fields, and it's interesting.
I'm really fascinated, though, to know a bit more about the profile of a speed puzzler. And, EV is part of this study that they're doing
Yeah, I saw that.
on speed puzzlers. So I participated in the study, and I'm just really curious to see what's up, because even just anecdotally, just from knowing people, there do seem to be some patterns and even, personality things and tendencies. So it's just kind of fascinating.
I'm talking to her for my podcast. Actually, we're doing a guide to worlds in a couple of weeks, and I just ran across that article the note that she did a study of puzzlers, and now I'm 100% going to ask her about that because I got to know, what does she know about these things? What did she do? It seems like there's a fascinating bit of information for us all to have.
Yeah.
We just had Jenny Coleman finish, and it looks like
there's
Jessica
edge piece
Robbins
missing.
is missing. Oh,
there's 2 pieces.
And
There they are.
that's actually something that Rob mentioned. We saw a puzzler do it earlier, where they
Yeah.
had the pieces on top of the
That's
puzzle.
the worst.
It is
That's
the
the
worst.
worst. I know. So I really try not to do that because I know that I'll lose a piece on there.
Yeah, and then when you have to swipe across the puzzle to find them, then you have the chance to knock the puzzles off, the
Right.
pieces off the table, and
Looks
really
like
be a
she's
mess.
still missing an edge piece even after finding those other 2.
Yeah.
Oh, what a bummer.
Well, the good news is that it's only 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So, you don't get infinitely penalized for that, which is nice.
It's just always, you lack that satisfaction when you don't complete the puzzle.
I see what you did
You
there.
need to stop.
Because completing the puzzle is just the best.
That is a good name.
Oh, so much fun. So
Yeah,
much fun.
So how many more people do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're all counting how many people are left
About
Yep. We've got
6,
about 35
7?
minutes left. So
and how many folks are out there? 10-ish?
I think it was 6 or 7.
Yeah, I
Some
think
of them I
it's
can't tell if they're done and just hanging out or if they're still going.
it's like maybe 7 left to puzzle. So, yeah. It's great. Making good progress. Got Taylor Williams.
Oh, I was going to say, because we were talking about sort of the profile of puzzlers, is completing the puzzle. I think I saw an article from you guys, or a blog, about like Myers-Briggs personality types.
Yep.
And that was really fascinating because actually I am one of those 2 personality types that seem to be the most into puzzles. So I'm an INFJ. I think, what was the other one? I think it was like IS.
I don't remember.
FJ maybe?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That S might be the STEM profile, those STEM folks. Who knows?
I'm restraining myself because I don't think people want to hear 2 hours of Myers-Briggs-based conversation. So, we should talk more about that offline. But I think the profile, like who is drawn to competitive speed puzzling, like I think that to me that's super fascinating.
Yeah.
I think definitely there are groups of people who find it interesting, and other folks for whom are like, I don't understand why you would do that.
Yeah. It's kind of exciting because it's still growing so much.
It
I
is.
know it's been around, I think, since the 80s, and then there was kind of a pause or a lull, or it
long
wasn't
drought.
as big. A long drought,
Yeah.
yeah. And then it kind of came back, and like even here, I think there are a lot of people who are new to the speed puzzling scene, and it's exciting to see new people emerge, even at nationals, like Alice Rowe, who was the individuals champion. She kind of came out of nowhere. She had never done competitions before, and I'm really excited to see kind of who else comes into it and realizes, holy crap, I'm really fast.
Yeah, we were talking earlier that that's
yeah.
one of the delightful parts of things is just seeing a new
Yeah.
person come on. Looks like we've got somebody else who we're going to bring up to the stage.
Thanks
Awesome.
for talking with us,
Absolutely.
Joyce.
Thanks
yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot.
thanks, Joyce. It's been a pleasure.
See you later.
Yeah, good luck in your other events.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on up. Welcome.
Hi. You're just gonna want to sit and put your mouth really close to the mic.
Okay.
Is it Zin or
Yeah, Zin.
Zin. Yeah.
Oh, close.
Go ahead, scooch right on up there. You be friendly with it.
Okay.
Congratulations. So second place.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about, like, is this your first competition? Are you generally competitive? How did you come to
yeah,
here?
I started like speed puzzling in like April after watching like the
Oh, so
nationals.
you're an old hand at this then.
Well, I did a lot of like online competitions,
Uh-huh.
and then I started going to the Portland Puzzles, the weekly competitions.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
And do you do the teams or the individual pairs?
I
Both nights?
yeah, I'll be doing pairs, and I joined the last minute team. So
Nice.
yeah.
Great. So how did it feel doing this puzzle?
Oh, it was really fun. I really love the cats. They're really cute. There were a lot of them, but they're really fun.
Did you find the number of cats intimidating, or?
Yeah, I mean, at first when I opened it, it was like a lot of gray. Like, it looked like it was going to be much harder than I thought. But yeah, it was really fun putting the little cats together. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So most people have been holding off on the cats and these kind of upper trees until the very end. Was that your strategy as well?
no, I started with the trees at the top.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they were pretty distinct pieces, so I started with those, and then I did the middle cats with all the fun instruments. Yeah, they were really cute. They were
I love that
colorful.
you're just having a good time.
Oh yeah, definitely a really fun puzzle.
So you just started speed puzzling pretty recently, but have you been puzzling for fun for a while?
Oh yeah, I guess not as much as I've done in the last few months for sure. I usually just like buy like one like 2,000 piece puzzle to like do once in a while, but
Right.
nothing like not as much as what I've been doing the last few months.
So what made you decide you wanted to do puzzles fast?
I think I watch a lot of Karen puzzle videos, and I'm like, that looks pretty fun, and I thought I could do it.
It turns out, not wrong.
Yeah.
I know,
Did you have any idea that you were going to do this well?
I knew like the range of time I usually get for like a 300 piece, but yeah, depending on the difficulty, it ranges quite a bit. So
Would you consider this a more or less difficult puzzle?
I think about middle.
Okay.
Middle ground. Yeah.
Did you see the puzzle from the last round?
Yes.
Would you say that they're about the same, or would that
I think it looks harder.
Harder.
Yeah, it's not as like distinct like lines and textures, so I think it's a bit more difficult. Yeah.
all right?
So in the finals, then you would prefer to see something more like this?
This will be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. So yeah.
What type of puzzles, when you're doing your 2,000 piece puzzles, what type of puzzles do you typically do?
They're just like, I don't know, pretty like standard ones you can buy from like the grocery store, like standard like buffalo and masterpieces puzzles. They're just like landscapes or
Yes.
it's something pretty like simple.
So, you say simple. I feel like a lot of our puzzlers out there would say landscapes are not simple.
Well, they have like a lot of colors for sure. I definitely pick something that's like much more doable and nothing with like just one like giant like sky or something.
I was gonna say, are you the kind of person who would love a big sky, or are you like, no, like this is I like more kind of well-defined areas, like?
No, it's smaller. Like a good good chunks of like big areas to work on are usually like more enjoyable. I would say
What's your nemesis kind of puzzle?
more like abstract, like like not so obvious. Just like random colors here and there.
Patterns, yeah.
And just like a lot of them. That would be even harder.
Awesome. So then you're moving on to doing. Do you have pairs, or you're only here?
Yeah, I have a pairs.
Who's your pairs partner?
Kelly.
Oh, Kelly Kelly, who was up here earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. She mentioned you. So that sounds like a has come together sort of in the last few days. That partnership?
Yeah, we just chatted online and we decided to do it together.
Nice. And so, have you done any particular thinking about how to approach pairs with her, or
We'll discuss it maybe like right before we start.
and then teams as well?
Yeah, I just joined a last minute team.
Is this part of Kelly's last minute team as well?
Oh no, it's a different team.
last minute
Yeah,
team.
we're called
Okay.
Last Minute Ladies. So yeah, we literally just found like a spot and we just like met up in the restroom and we're like, oh, looking for someone for my team, and I decided to join them. So
The restroom is the hot spot for finding other players.
apparently so.
Are you guys working on a collective approach, or is it really just we're going to get together and have a good time? I mean, you seem to have just good timed your way through this one, so it
Yeah.
seems like a strategy that works for you.
Yeah, we'll just have a good time. I think. I think we'll still do pretty fast, but
Nice. Do you have a sense of where you're hoping to be in terms of the overall competition? Like,
no. Yeah, I don't know.
So it sounds like the speed puzzling bug has bit you. So you're gonna keep doing the speed puzzling competitions?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun. And I can see myself like improving like the last few months when I first started. So
are you doing a lot of specific kinds of practice that are helping you improve?
yeah, I do like the online, the speedpuzzling.com competitions
So
monthly.
just doing a lot of competitions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and definitely just practicing like timing and seeing and doing some puzzles over and over until you've kind of figure out the strategy to like.
Is that right? So what's a puzzle you've done over and over again, and what sort of strategy did that end up unlocking?
Like I did the nationals, like the finals, the individual finals puzzle with the hot eye balloons. Like I've done that one like I
Right.
think almost 10 times, just like trying to figure out what's like how to even get close to the time that people got in the finals, which is crazy. So
Did you find some things that helped you get faster at that, or was it just repetition?
yeah, a lot of repetitions I would say, but yeah, each time I do, like I try a different like strategy to see if that works. Like like starting edges first, or just like go right into the balloons, like or just just trying different things each time to see what kind of makes me go faster.
Did you discover anything that definitely does not work?
Not really, but
No, it's all
very like minor, like time differences. So I don't think there's like one specific thing, but yeah.
Nice. So do you see yourself as on the road to nationals next time it comes
Yeah, I
around?
definitely hope to join next time. That'd be pretty fun.
Cool. Yeah. I suspect you're not going to Worlds.
Oh no.
So do you have your eye on anything between now and whenever National shows up again?
No, not
Whatever
really.
shows up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still doing like the monthly online competition, so that will keep me pretty busy. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us
thank
today,
you.
and
Thank
good
you.
luck with your next heats
Yeah,
and
course.
and finals.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. All right, we've got just a little over 25 minutes left in individual preliminaries heat 2.
That's right. It looks like we're down to the last, I'm going to say 4 or 5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So I think we're actually sort of cruising along. Looks like we're looking at here over at, was it table 2?
Yep.
Is just on the verge of being finished. Zach, not Jeff, doing a great job. Saving
That's
the trees
actually
to
Andy
last.
Poorman.
Right. So Andy, but sorry, I was looking over at Zach, not Jeff, as well
Sorry.
from earlier. My apologies. You can't see what
okay.
I can see, so my apologies. But yes, this is Andy, and Andy looks like he saved the tree branches for last. I find pieces like this actually kind of fun.
I love these.
Like
Yep.
when all you have is a few pieces left and they're all mostly the same, I actually kind of enjoy trying to find the thing that fits in the place.
I also feel like with this, you kind of can see the pattern. Like if you
You
put
can see the
piece on
pattern.
top,
Some
you
of
can
us are
see the
pattern blind.
Yeah. Oh.
No, but it's great, right? And so you can see the orientation of the way the branches are going, and it makes sense to you.
And we just had another finish right
Yeah,
here.
Ritika.
Let's see who that was. Yeah, Ritika. You see that so fast.
It was
Oh.
it was on the screen. I had the benefit of it being in shot this time. Yeah.
And
All right.
Andy's almost done there. Looks like 2 pieces left. And
Nice.
he is done. Great job.
Yeah, I love that when you finish a puzzle in a competition like this, when there's a camera crew around, you finish your puzzle and look up and there's a camera looking right at you.
Yep.
You have to be like, all right, well. And also, if you were in most competitions, when you are getting close to being done, people will start, like, officials will start
Congregating.
coming around you, and if it's the kind of place with it, like this is with cameras will start coming around you. So actually, in a weird sort of way, the stress can ramp up right near the end.
I was going to ask, how does that affect your puzzling?
Yeah, because you become aware of all of these things. They're doing all the things that they can to sort of drag you out of the zone that you're in. So you have to just kind of mentally put up a wall and say, okay, I'm not going to pay attention to that until I'm done. But at least for me, and I think most people I've talked to, it has a real difference. It has a real impact. You know that they're there. You know that means that you must be near being done, which is great. but also like they're watching you being done.
Well, and especially if it is true that a lot of puzzlers are introverts, it's like the worst nightmare.
That's right. Yeah, when I was talking to Yvonne Foyt, she's a camera operator by trade, so she's used to being behind the camera. And I said, so what's it like to be in front of the camera? And she's like, do not like it. It's not where I want to be. She says she's become accustomed to it because she's been in enough competitions with cameras around it. But you're right, suddenly having a bunch of focus is another thing you have to deal with. What can be challenging as well is like if you are in the middle of the competition, like you're midway through a puzzle and a camera comes around and like looks at you for a little while, like we have done with many of people around here.
Yep.
It can be some pressure to like just do something that looks like you're working. At nationals,
Entertain us.
yeah, at nationals, the cameras came by when our team were just sort of in a flat spot in the middle. Like we were in for what that competition was. We were in the trough of despair, so we were like, trying to figure out how to get. Oh my goodness, where are we going from here? All the easy parts are done, and all the hard parts seem really hard. And then the camera comes around. And they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to pick up pieces and put them places, and hope that the camera makes it look like I'm doing some good work.
Back on Taylor, she's getting through it.
Classic one-arm lean.
One
here.
arm lean.
Yeah.
She's got that one arm lean.
Yeah, one of the best puzzlers in the world does it exactly like this. So I think Taylor's got something here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I puzzle like that quite a bit. One arm lean.
There's Zach, not Jeff.
I joke that I'm like getting wrinkles on the side of my face only from where my hand goes when I'm puzzling. Lean on my hand.
Right. Well, that
making
must
weird
mean that you're
wrinkles.
doing a lot of puzzling if that's going to cause you permanent
It's just because it's so slow. Just because it's that casual puzzling. Not the speed puzzling,
Looks like we're coming down here. We've
And-
got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
All right, we
Four
got 4
left.
folks left.
20 minutes. I think they might all finish.
Yeah, I think Zach, not Jeff, is going to do it.
Yeah.
Taylor, I think, was on the way, and then I
Yeah.
haven't seen the other folks, so not sure quite how they're tracking. I think it's Heidi Hayes.
She looks like she's almost done. Nope. Could be off.
Haynes.
can
Heidi
see her
Haynes.
in
Sorry,
the-
Heidi. Oh, yeah. Thank you,
20
extra camera.
minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's got a little ways to go yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched, I'm not sure who we're looking at here. Taylor, I think? Nope. We're
That's
looking at
Zach.
Zach, not Jeff.
Yeah, Zach. And we keep saying that FYI because he's a late ad, it looks like, for someone who maybe no-showed or
Yeah,
had to cancel at the last minute.
Exactly right.
So they crossed out the name on the placard.
It was originally Jeff Pichette, and then they crossed out his name and wrote Zach.
So we actually don't
Zach
even have...
Panza.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm calling him Zach, not Jeff.
Yeah.
But I saw him take a piece that goes where it goes, but have the wrong rotation. And, that's another thing that's a skill is like, you're like, okay, I know this goes here. Can I get my hand such that it's rotated in the right direction by the time I'm putting it down? And, it's one of those things that even if you, like at some point your brain just starts saying, this goes here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't do that a lot to me, but it does happen. And you're like, okay, it goes there, but it doesn't tell you necessarily how to orient it. So
Yep.
you still so you might be like, yes, it goes here, and then just sort of jam it in there and be like, oh, well, if I took a minute to look at this, it clearly doesn't go this way. So
Yep.
you have to kind of pick it up and move it around. So another skill is like picking it up and sort of in flight being able to orient it the way it goes and land it by the time it gets there.
It seems like that is a time when maybe having two hands to puzzle could be helpful because trying to flip a piece with one hand, I guess you can turn your hand, but that's also kind of awkward. So you might have
Hands
to
are famously flexible. It's true.
Yeah. But also
Yeah, yeah.
kind of awkward.
No, you're not wrong.
Because most people do use their hand and do the same position to place the piece every time.
Yeah.
And there we go, Zach finished.
Nice job, Zach.
And
Zach
Taylor
Panza,
looks like
to say
also
his actual
finished
name.
right at the same time. So
All
great
right.
job to both of them.
All right, we're down to, looks like
Two puzzlers left with about 18 minutes to go on this individual preliminaries heat 2.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, when folks get to the end, not everybody makes it to the time will run out on some folks, That doesn't mean that they didn't qualify. It just means that we move to the next kind of scoring. So what will happen is if the folks like Penny here don't make it to the end, although she looks like she's got a fighting chance, we'll take her time at 2 hours and then count any pieces that aren't placed as part of a group of 3 or more pieces and count those, and the person with the fewest number of those left is the next highest person on the list. So if everybody finished, if we had like 2 people finish in 2 hours but have extra pieces, the one who had the fewest extra pieces is the highest one on the leaderboard. And it looks like Penny has gotten the trees but saved the cats for last. Yeah, there's our leaderboard.
It's a common thing we're hearing with the puzzlers who completed the puzzle.
Yeah.
They actually saved those cats for last.
It's going to make me laugh every time. And I do like that we're looking down here at 32nd and 33rd place. You can't see that anymore because the people behind the screen didn't know I was about to talk about that. But the difference in time there is 33 seconds. And you can see that sort of intermittently throughout the scores. If you're looking at the column next to the major scores, that tells you how much time difference between the next person up on the list there are. And you can see that like there's a 1 second difference there. 18th place, Carolyn Canterman versus Margaret Kirkland. There's a 1 second difference there. So it is definitely true that even in competitions like this, even if you're not the kind of world class folks, every second can count.
And looks like Mary and Leslie had the exact same time.
Is that right?
Yeah, 15th. So it was actually a tie for 15th.
Ooh, and I'm pretty confident the spreadsheet is not ready for that.
Or am I misreading that? No.
No, I
that's
think you're
correct.
right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My old lady eyes.
No, you're exactly right. If the person who had made this spreadsheet had any sense of them, they would have handled ties. But since I was that person, I did not think about ties. So unfortunately, Leslie is going to look a step ahead of Mary Sharp, despite the fact that Mary did exactly the same speed.
Yeah.
So my apologies for poor programming on that side, but nice job,
That's all
Mary.
right. Mary, we got you. You got 15th as well.
That's right. You'll always have 15th in our hearts.
That's actually pretty amazing, though, when you think about it, that they got the exact same time.
Yeah.
So talking about how important those seconds are, you can see it right there, illustrated perfectly.
Yeah.
And if that had been for qualification,
That's right. If that had been the boundary.
yep.
Yeah, I was just wondering, gosh, if they were a place earlier, then we would have an interesting problem to figure out for the wild card.
Yeah.
Like
Could
because
be. Yeah.
in the individual heats, the top 13 move on to the next round, move on to the finals, and one person who had the highest time of any of the heats, or the next fastest time who didn't qualify, moves on as well. So you'll have 13, 13, and then 13, and then one more. So some math there. But if that tie had been one more position up, it would have been an interesting call, because now you would have potentially 2 people who theoretically have a claim to move on.
Now we're down to Penny and Heidi.
I love Penny's elbow accessories.
See, there you go.
Just what I'm
There's-
thinking.
there you go.
Maybe this is a candidate for the special clothing apparatus that makes it officially a competition. We should get Penny on here and talk to her about what the performance benefits of these elbow decorations, adornments are.
You know, as someone who does puzzle leaning on their elbow, a little elbow pad actually would be an incredibly important piece of performance-enhancing equipment.
It's true. It's true. Although it looks like Penny is a stand-up, and I mean that in a literal sense, puzzler. So elbow leaning seems to be less of an issue for her.
Oh.
So it looks like she's having a good time.
How can you not when you're puzzling?
I also like that in the background you can see somebody's puzzle leggings.
Yes. I will say this is giving me a little bit of FOMO that I have to sit up here all weekend and I don't get to puzzle at all. At least you're getting to puzzle a little bit, Rob.
I know. That's because I can't stand the FOMO. I every time I am watching like a puzzle competition, I immediately have to get up and go puzzle. One of the hardest parts about doing my podcast, Peace Talks, which you can find at peace_talks on Instagram, by the way, is that whenever I talk to people or I'm preparing to talk to people, I get really excited about puzzling, and then I want to go puzzle and not finish the kind of work that I need to do editing or anything like that. So FOMO is real in that respect.
Right.
All right. It looks like Penny, and you can't see her, but Heidi is pacing about the same place, I would say.
Yeah. 12 minutes left.
So we got a nail biter coming down to the end here.
Yeah. Looks like both of them should make it, though, at 12 minutes. I think we might finish a little early.
Yeah, there's Heidi. I think Heidi may have a little more done here than Penny did. So currently my money's on her. Yep.
Yeah, I would
She's
agree
getting
with
some
that.
good placements.
Yep.
You know, you go through these times where you just aren't putting anything in, and suddenly you'll have like 5 that immediately go in, and it seems like she's having
and it
that
gives
moment.
you that boost you need.
It really
Yes,
does.
Yes.
Like it is. There's nothing more energizing than putting 5 pieces in a row. There's nothing more deflating than not being able to put in another piece after that for two minutes. So, like, if you're going to do speed puzzling, just be ready for the emotional journey it will take you on.
The ups and downs throughout the puzzle itself.
I mean, the trough of despair is real. Like at some point, you're going to end up in the middle where you're like, oh God, I don't know what to do. Everything is the most terrible thing in the world.
Seems like she's rocking and rolling a little bit now.
Right? So all we needed was to watch her, and then off she goes. See, this is why I'm exactly the right person for this, because I'm just like, oh God, this is so super interesting. You know, she's got like, I don't know, 15 pieces left, and I'm like on the edge of my seat.
I know. It's so interesting that you
You
and
got
I
this,
are
Heidi.
almost both silent because we're watching her so intensely. So if you notice, she's struggling with those horizontal branches. Those are the same ones
Oh,
that
that's
Kelly
right.
was talking about that she saved for last and said she was struggling with.
That's right. You're
And it
right.
looks like those are the same ones that she's kind of struggling with a little bit too.
They do have a little bit of a horizontal pattern to them, which is nice. But if you're a little bit pattern blind like I am, that's not particularly helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 minutes to go and no pressure. No pressure.
They've 10 minutes left.
I
And
like that Penny
looks
just
like
burst
she
out
only
laughing.
has about 10 pieces left. So,
Yeah, she got
I mean,
this.
she's got plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Yeah, there's Penny.
Yeah, I think they'll both finish.
Yeah, I think it may be down to the wire for Penny here. I think that Heidi, I think, has it in the bag. But Penny, I think, is going to be a cusper. I think she.
Oh, yeah,
I think
she's on all those
She has a. If
cats.
she has a last flurry, oh yeah, the cats. If she has the last burst of speed here, I think she can do it. We believe in you, Penny. You got this.
And if you've enjoyed this live stream, if you want to stick around, we have the duo pairs or the duo preliminaries heat 1 coming up. That will be starting at 3:55. We'll be coming at you live. So if you want to come back, and that's 3:55 Pacific time. I don't know where you are out there in the world. So you'll have to do the time zone conversion, but we'll be back here live at 3:55 for the first heat of the duo preliminaries. And then if you want to come back and catch and see who the final 13, maybe 14 to qualify for the individual finals are, you can join us again tomorrow morning. We'll be back live at 9:15 a.m. Pacific time to kick off our Saturday. And I don't know what better way to spend a Saturday than watching speed puzzling, Rob. Do you?
I feel like people might take that as a sarcastic statement.
No,
but I
I'm
literally
not
don't.
being
I mean,
sarcastic at all.
Yeah, 100%.
This has been so fun so far today, and I'm really excited. Tomorrow we're going to kick it off with the individual preliminaries, Heat 3, so that'll be the last heat of the preliminaries to qualify for finals tomorrow at 9:15 a.m. Pacific time. Then we're going to go into the second and last heat of the duo at 12:15 Pacific time, and then wrap up our Saturday with the team finals at 2:55 Pacific time. So lots of great puzzling events tomorrow. And then Sunday is going to be our big day for finals. We're going to kick it off Sunday morning at 9:15 a.m., go live with our duo finals, and then close out our whole Portland Jigsaw Masters event at 11:55 a.m. Pacific time with our individual finals. So stick around today. Again, that first heat of the pairs is going to start at 3:55. Really fun puzzle pair names. So it'd be really fun to talk.
I'm looking forward to paying homage to everybody who put some creativity in their names.
Yeah, it's so fun. And so you definitely won't want to miss that. Check out all the creativity in the shirts, in the names. And it's just really fun watching these people work together too.
She's going to do it. She's going to do it.
I think she is too. She's got just over 6 minutes left.
I have to say,
maybe 12 pieces.
Yeah. If you want a master class in mediocre puzzling, you should hang out for the duos tomorrow, where I will be competing.
Yeah, if you want to watch Rob puzzle, you'll be able to see him tomorrow in the second heat of the duo preliminaries and the team finals. So if you've enjoyed listening to him, if you've enjoyed listening to him talk about puzzling, you can actually watch him
That's
puzzle.
right. You can marvel at how somebody who knows so much about jigsaw puzzling can perform so adequately.
And my husband and partner, Brian, will be joining me, so you can watch
That's
us, hopefully, do well together talking. I don't know. He doesn't know nearly as much about puzzling as you do, Rob. I'll definitely miss you. You've been a wonderful live stream partner up here.
Yeah, back at you.
But we'll definitely have fun. So
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
well, looks like we're 6 minutes out and we don't have Penny anymore, but we've got the scoreboards. I love that if I say stuff, things just happen. So nice job, AV team.
magic. Magic.
But,
All right,
yeah,
we got
we're-
Penny. She's about to finish. Oh,
She
she's
is
got
about to
6
finish.
pieces left.
Yes. And the crowd
got it.
did a little mini set of cheers, and I think rightfully so. We're coming right up to it. It's unfortunate that that her tag is right her name is right in the middle of the area that she's working at.
I know.
But yeah, look at that. She's got 7 pieces. No, 6 pieces. I think she's going to do it.
Yeah, it's so fun when everyone actually finishes
That's
the
right.
puzzle.
We'll have 100% of people finishing. No pressure, Penny. I think you'll do a great job either way. But she's right on the cusp of it. Just at she found a cat in the upper area.
Yep.
Nice. I was going to
I
say
didn't even
it's
notice that piece was still missing.
the confluence of cats here down at the bottom. Yeah, so there's the crowd's going wild. I hope you can hear them in the background. Again, this is the puzzle community in a single image where somebody is coming up to being done, and everybody in the community is cheering her on. So the puzzle community is a great community for exactly this reason. And there we go.
And she finished.
Penny Sue, well done.
Oh, she's so excited. I love that. I'm about
That's
to
awesome.
start
And
crying.
the crowd literally goes wild.
I am. Oh, yeah, that's so fun. Oh, I just love that.
I'm not one for heartwarming moments, so I'm going to need it.
I'm like getting emotional. I'm about to start crying. Oh, that was great to watch all these puzzlers complete their puzzle in this individual preliminaries heat 2. And this has just been so much fun so far today. We're through the first 2 individual preliminaries, so we know who our 26 puzzlers are going to be going into the individual finals on Sunday. So here are the 13 from the second heat who have qualified. So really exciting. Arena coming in first, and then Shen coming in second. And you can see all the way down the list. A lot of these are, relative unknowns. I think if you're really into speed puzzling. So really fun to see all these people who we're going to see again on the Sunday individual finals.
Yeah, and there's a couple of people left in the next rounds who are, I think, great wild cards. So more to come in the individuals heats. I don't think we've seen the best of it, or at least not all of the best of it quite yet. So definitely tune in for the rest of that tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, and we'll catch you back here in about 30 minutes for the duo preliminary heat 1. If you are going to join us, we hope you do. Lots more puzzling fun to come.
See you soon.
Thanks.